We are continuing Harappan civilization. Sanju, am I audible? Yes, okay. Let's start. Do you remember some people associated with the discovery of Indus Valley? Can you remember who is the first person? Who set foot on Harappan mound? Alexander fought with Porus. Sanju? Army officer. The person who thought Alexander fought with Porus on the mound of Harappan. Charles Mason. Yeah, he's the one. And in the next development, who contributed in the discovery of seals, pottery, stone tools? 1920, yes. 1921, R.D. Banerjee. Mohenjo-daro. In 1924, formal announcement. John Marshall. John Marshall, he announced formally that there is a great civilization in India also. So almost contemporary, but exact rise is this part has seen urban areas much before Indus Valley civilization. That led to various theories like whether it is indigenous, developed or foreign influenced. Today we are going to see how it is indigenously developed Harappan civilization. For that we need to know some places. Do you remember some places, Neolithic or Chalcolithic settlements in northwestern part of India? First village settlement? Mehergarh. Yes. Okay. Anjira. Okay. Okay. Bolan Valley. Huh. We'll get different valleys. Sohan Valley, Bilan Valley, Bolan Valley, Tungabhadra Valley. Ah, Allahabad region. Hmm. Sohan Valley in northwest. It's like Pakistan, boundary with Jammu and Kashmir and Pakistan border. This map will give you how different settlements emerged much before the rise of urban areas. You see this? Before the early phase. You make a small map, particularly northwest. Particularly northwest. Just to make my, I will also draw this. Here particularly we have to draw two rivers. One is Indus river, another one is Saraswati river. And the name of Saraswati, different interpretation. Gaggar Hakra river. Gaggar Hakra. If you want to write Saraswati, in bracket you write Saraswati also. Gaggar Hakra. Vedas. Yeah. Gaggar Hakra. The name is the heading. Name and extent. This is the subheading. And this subheading we are discussing about this topic. Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, then Kalibangan. The discovery of Harappa is such a polarized aspect. During the British time period, now Britishers were in dilemma whether to accept this as a great civilization or something else. If they accept great civilization, then whatever they are propagating up to now goes wrong. And if they don't do that, then Indians, freedom fighters will say that Britishers are not acknowledging the real progress. It will embolden the national movement. During such time period, now Britishers are trying to find new ways that even though it is visible on the ground, now they want to say that it is not Indian. So it is there, but still they want to say it is not Indian, it is outsiders, they brought it. So that their same thing, Britishers also came here to civilize. Even 2000 years ago, someone came to civilize Indians. Now in 1800, 1900 also British came here to civilize. They want that narrative. But in archaeology, whatever ideology they are propagating, that is proving the wrong. That's why almost every topic is going to be debatable issue when it comes to Harappan civilization. Since the beginning of name itself, someone want to say it is Indus civilization because they found near the Indus river. When it comes to Sumerian, here they found whatever civilization in this part, they found on the river of Sumerian river. That's why Mesopotamia, Sumerian on rivers. When it comes to Egypt, Nile river is there. Based on the Nile river, Egyptian civilization flourished. They thought that similarly, because of this river, this civilization flourished. Nile Valley civilization or Egyptian civilization, Sumerian civilization or Mesopotamian. Similarly, they were thinking that all these settlements are purely on the boundaries of Indus. In the initial stage, Harappa and some related settlements they discovered near the Indus. But when they started discovering more and more settlements, now these settlements are going away from the Indus. And as far as Rajasthan, Gujarat, in Maharashtra also, now what name should be given to this? Do we consider it as Indus Valley civilization? And this is the British narrative. And when it comes to Indian historians, Indians are also showing the interest. In Rigveda, always Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, three rivers are merging near Prayagraj. And they felt that in Rigveda also Saraswati river is mentioned. And they thought this Gaggar Hakra river is the Saraswati river. Now, one section of archaeologists and historians wanted to name this civilization as Saraswati civilization. And after some time, okay, let us compromise. We will include both Sindhu Saraswati civilization. Sindhu Saraswati. But problem is, all the settlements are neither near Sindhu, all the settlements are neither near Saraswati. There are settlements going beyond Sindhu and Saraswati river also. That's why problem emerged again. So most acceptable naming of this civilization is, generally in archaeology what happens, if you identify the first site, and any number of sites you can discover later, but for that culture the first site name will be given. Same is the case Ahar, Gilund, Balatal. Ahar was the first site, Ahar name is given. Jorvi, Daimabad, Yanamgaon, many settlements were discovered, but Jorvi is the first one, Jorvi culture. Similarly here also, Harappa was the first one to discover. Harappan civilization is the better way of expressing the name of this civilization. So it is like today we have India. Now even after independence also, during the debates in Constituent Assembly, whether we should give the name, whether it is India or Bharat, whether we consider this is our land and we have to name something, and this land historically and culture wise Bharat name is there, or Hindustan name is there, or Jambudvipa, if we go back even Puranas and Vedas, and modern name is India also there. Now what name should be given? So this naming is very, very crucial because it represents the ideology. So that name is very, very crucial in identifying any particular, because it unifies the people. That's why even during Constituent Assembly debates, whether India or Bharat, the compromise is in the preamble itself, we the people of India, that is Bharat. Yes, both names, India and Bharat. Similarly, when it comes to Harappan civilization also, at that time, it is their country. But we don't know what name they have given themselves, unless we find that script. And if script contains the name of the civilization, we never know. But today in 21st century and 20th century, we are considering, according to our norms, that Harappa is the first settlement discovered. That's why Harappan civilization is the better way of naming. Naming convention is this one. And when it comes to extent, and because of this extent only all these name debates emerged, whether it is Sindhu, Saraswati or Harappan. It goes back here, Sudgajendar, and it goes as far as Daimabad, it goes as far as Alamgirpur, it goes as far as Manda. So this we consider as the extent. Now I will give one by one, we will write. For explanation I am drawing this. This is northernmost, this is southernmost. Easternmost is Alamgirpur. I will give you this one by one, okay? Don't worry. I will give you the names also. So this you write. One paragraph you write this. And even in Afghanistan also, we isolated settlement also there. Are you able to understand the debates related to? Fine. Now you write. This paragraph is how you have to write in the examination. Name and extent, you give the heading, and under this. The vast geographical extent, the vast geographical extent of the civilization of the civilization made the objections to the terms. Made. This vast geographical location made objections to the terms Indus Valley civilization. To the terms Indus Valley civilization and Indus Saraswati. and Indus Saraswati or Sindhu Saraswati civilization. Next paragraph. Since the civilization was not confined, since the civilization was not confined to the valleys of the Indus or Gaggar Hakra. Since the civilization was not confined to the valleys of the Indus or Gaggar Hakra, the best option is to use the term Harappan civilization. This is first. These are going to be the subheading. Suppose if question is coming broadly, Indus Valley features, or explain about the Indus Valley civilization geographical extent, then you can give the, when it comes to name also, so because of this geographic location, these are the names, and the better option is Harappan civilization. Next one, what is the date? Now with respect to naming also debatable issue. Now second debate is what is the date? Before the discovery of Harappan civilization, we were always thinking Veda is the beginning of our Indian history. But we never know the history, the timing of when Vedas were compiled. And some scholars in the initial days, they were saying around 6000. Because here in 5000 to 6000 BC, urbanization emerged. So let us go back our history also. Vedas also compiled in 6000 BC. Avestan language and Rigvedic language having the same concepts of God, similar terms also. For example, just they replace S with H. That's why Sindh became Hind. Harkavati becomes Saraswati. So Saraswati becomes Harkavati. And this is another debatable issue. Because early Vedic people settled in this part. They did not come up to Gangetic Valley. In Gangetic Valley, Ganga, Yamuna divide. Here there is one Saraswati river. And near Kabul, in this area also, there is one river, Harkavati. In Avestan language, that is Harksavati. But if you replace H with S, that name also becomes Saraswati. Whether early Vedic people referring Saraswati means this one or this one. That is also another debatable issue. So with respect to this Indus Valley and Harappan civilization, multiple theories are about to emerge. For history optional student, this clarity is important. If question is about mixing both Harappan and civilization Vedic also, you will be able to write the answer. Vedas timeline. Rigvedic timeline 1500 BC to 1000 BC. Later Vedic 1000 BC to 600 BC.
But this 1000 is not the word. It's just our rough estimation. It's not a sure.
Rough estimation only. For all the ancient time periods, it's all rough. Even archaeologically also, this timeline also, different scholars propose a different timeline. John Marshall says one timeline. D.P. Agarwal says some other timeline. More or less, if more scholars agree to some kind of time terminology or timing, we are going to accept that. But again, we can always write in our UPSC exam, if new evidence comes, we may have to revise. That particular line, when it comes to ancient archaeology, always we can use the term. Whatever we are writing here, based on the evidence available up to now. If new evidence comes, then we have to change the theory. So that's why history is always, in this aspect, history is becoming the dynamic. You give dates, and stages of formation. Dates and stages of formation. You give this one. John Marshall. John Marshall suggested Harappan civilization flourished from 3250 to 2750 BCE. This is the one. And when it comes to D.P. Agrawal, he suggested 2300 to 2000 BCE. And also 2000 to 700 BCE. So like mature phase, like later phase, like that, he suggested in the initial stages up to 2000 and 2000 to 1700 declining. And he suggested 3000 to 2700. This is how different scholars, because there is no, even today we have at least more technology with respect to archaeology also to identify the exact dating, radiocarbon dating. But that time, very crude technology only and rough estimation only. For example, even if we consider, do you remember our Paleolithic Hathnora? Hathnora is the place located in which state? Hathnora, where human skull was discovered by H.D. Sankalia. Do you remember, Sanju? Hathnora? Fossil site in Madhya Pradesh, Hathnora. And for that also, there is no proper evidence whether it is 6 lakh BC or beyond that. And there was a place called Bori. In Bori, artifacts were identified. Paleolithic, lower Paleolithic tools were identified. But even for this also, date is still, we don't know exactly. As of now, the dates are suggesting 1.4 million. That means 14 lakh years ago. So that means 14 lakh years ago itself, people are there in the Indian subcontinent. And if archaeology says 14 lakh years ago people are there, means those who believe in Vedas and Puranas, they say whatever Mahabharata Ramayana mentioned, Satyug, Kaliyug, there must be Satyug people. Satyug means gods, devatas, devas, those. But archaeology, history is different and mythology is different. But this is how When new technology comes, if new ideas come, and when this time changes, the timeline of Bori artifacts also will change later. So this is how, according to the new latest technologies, the timings are going to change. In 1920s and up to 1950s, they have little idea, and that's why they have given this name. After that, many settlements, Neolithic settlement, Chalcolithic settlement, that discovery also happened. And as a result of that, now once again dates are revised. And these dates, this we call 3 stages of formation. And based on that, the real dates will come. 3 stages of formation of Harappan civilization. Harappan civilization. The Harappan civilization is not a sudden one, it's a very gradual one. Yesterday we have seen. So this way, gradually it evolved. And based on that, this stage, and this stage, 3 stages of formation was identified. This we call early Harappan. Draw this one. This we call early Harappan phase. This we call mature Harappan. Next one, late Harappan. Early Harappan, mature Harappan, late Harappan. Now when it comes to early Harappan, the date suggested 3200 to 2600. 2600 to 1900 and 1900 to 1300 BC. Yes. So different. We will get some more people names also. So as of now, since Neolithic time period, now just recollect different people names. Charles Mason in 1820s, then 1830s James Prinsep, Brahmi script. Now by 1850s Robert Bruce Foote, Paleolithic stone tool, another person. Alexander Cunningham, another person. In 1920s, Dayaram Sahani, then R.D. Banerjee, then John Marshall, D.P. Agrawal came. Now later, you will get H.D. Sankalia. After independence, Hathnora skull was discovered by H.D. Sankalia. These are related to archaeology. When it comes to historians, we have different set of people like Max Muller, different set of people. When it comes to India also, different people are there. R.G. Bhandarkar, Koshambi, different people are going to come. When it comes to historical part, we are more or less dealing with prehistory and proto-history. Archaeologists are very, very important in this context. Then Mortimer Wheeler, one person will come. Yeah, Mortimer Wheeler, he said the Harappan civilization, this is declined, not a gradual one. Harappans came and destroyed this. Aryan invasion theory. Purandar, so based on the references in Rig Veda, Purandar Indra, Haryupiya, name was mentioned. That Haryupiya is considered as Harappa. So Mortimer Wheeler. Now you see, so many people name comes. In your mains answer, you need to fit somewhere. And in 1860, when it comes to Neolithic, we have John Lubbock, who gave the Neolithic, and the person who gave Neolithic revolution, V. Gordon Child, likewise. When it comes to Neolithic, then even in Harappan civilization also, when it comes to urbanization, he used to say, urbanization is phenomena that due to aggressive approach towards the environment. He used to use the term. Man became very aggressive towards the environment. And from that time period onwards, so many changes took place in the human history. So those terminologies, those phrases, different archaeologists, if you use in the examination, that will help. So up to now only you got these many people. Many students will not write these names. Generally, they write everything. They write about the features of Harappa, town planning, water management, streets, houses, burnt bricks, everything. But when it comes to the people who worked really and who discovered this great civilization, those people names will not come. Because either they forget or as part of preparation, they neglect this part. But we have to use this will give extra 1 mark, 1.5 mark extra.
So, there is no one who discovered Harappa, only excavated Harappa, but no one who discovered Harappa.
Excavation?
So, like, there's a difference between excavation and discovery.
Okay.
Many people like discovered, like Charles Columbus discovered America. Like that way. So, who discovered Harappa?
There is no single person. These many people, yesterday we have seen, different people contributed to different.
The first person who reaches is known as the discovery of something.
Charles Mason, but he never know that it is a civilization. But he gave the clue to the next person, Alexander Cunningham. And he also never named it as a civilization. And he got some seals, some pottery, and he felt something might be there. You can say Archaeological Survey of India discovered this. Institution, not a single person. It's an institutional contribution. Many people were there in that institution contributed to this. That way. Even Robert Bruce Wood, at least for one person we can identify. Hand axe at Pallavaram near Chennai discovered. And he was also part of Geological Survey of India. So you can say this is the importance of institutions. If you have institutions, developments will take place different way. And this is one aspect, even though Lord Curzon, he is generally seen as anti-nationalist figure. He tried to suppress the national movement. He partitioned Bengal. But when it comes to the institution building, and he contributed so much when it comes to military reforms, when it comes to education reforms. In fact, Archaeological Survey of India also, after 1870s, no funds were given. But Curzon revived it. So that is one of the great contribution of Lord Curzon. But we see Lord Curzon in the anti-national figure because other things are there, and he inspired the youth in the national movement to come into the mass scale. But to his credit, he has some contributions like he is the person after 3 decades Archaeological Survey was revived, and this revival helped in the discovery of like this. So institutions always, even today also in the current context, how you need to say, if you destroy the institutions, you will destroy the progress. You should not destroy the institution because single person cannot do everything. It is the institution which really strengthen the progress, which strengthen the economy in every sphere, whether it is economy, whether it is culture, whether it is society, everywhere. These institutions are very important. After so much discovery, Harappan civilization is not a single stage, and early Harappan phase also there, mature Harappan phase also there, late Harappan phase also there. This early Harappan phase, this emerged from Neolithic and Chalcolithic. And after the decline of Harappan civilization, once again people became Chalcolithic people. Because this time bronze used, this time copper used, and this time copper used. copper, bronze, once again copper. This connectivity is very, very important when it comes to the questions like whenever comparative question comes, Vedic and Harappan. Now, this is the phase Vedic people also going to come. And these are the people who interacted, Aryans interacted with these people only. And these ideas entered into their life, their ideas entered into this life. And this is how the mixing of cultures emerged. And this is where Dasa, Dasyus, different terminologies. Panis, Pani is the term given to the traders, cattle thievers, and Panis, Dasa, Dasyus. And because of this interaction, their outward appearance, physical appearance is different. This physical appearance is different. That's how the Varna system, Varna concept, color concept emerged. And this is how you have to link. Suddenly, if you start your history preparation with Harappa, you don't know what happened this and why these people. Because already these people then entered into mature phase also, before that early and Chalcolithic, Neolithic. And by this time period, so much progress happened already. Whether it comes to pottery development, house construction, whether it is religious belief, seal making, all those things.
Books also only early and late Harappa is indoor and only massive Harappa is only in space.
Sorry?
In the executive books only maybe history books. Most of them are only school books.
Huh.
The early Harappa and late Harappa is considered the indoor and only massive Harappa is highlighted. After that it comes Vedas.
Vedas. That's why that connectivity is missing, and that is where students are feeling very difficult. Because unless you have the proper connectivity, now it is very connected. Now to understand Vedic people also, it will not be difficult one.
To study Harappa, we have to study from here. From here, because studying here, we will study from after
Yes. That's why the Stone Age, now you understand, you appreciate the importance of Stone Age. If I teach you Stone Age in isolation, it is very boring. But now you see, whatever you learned there, how important now when it comes to Harappan. Now whatever you are going to learn in Harappan, how important is going to be in Vedic. And whatever you learn up to Vedic, how important when it comes to Mahajanapada time period. That is how our culture is evolving in different stages, different elements are coming to Indian history. And those elements today we are following. Today we are following Shiva. And somewhere at some point of time they started. Rama or Vishnu, sometime they started. So these are called different ideas. They started, we are following. Pottery tradition, they started, we are following. House making, they started, we are following. Thatched houses, wattle and daub houses, they started, we are following. The tradition is continuing even today also. This is the question. After so many, when other civilizations vanished, but why Indian civilization is still continuing means this connectivity only. Now you see there is no discontinuity here. This was one stage, entered into next stage. There is no discontinuity. Next, it may be advanced or less advanced, doesn't matter, but continuity is there. And once again, another continuity. When new people come, new mixing. When post-Mauryan comes, now Indians, at the same time Shakas will come, then Indo-Greeks will come, Parthians will come, Kushanas will come, let anybody come. It is like a melting pot. Everybody will come and join there. Institutions become very strong. That time, yes, we have written records. We have so many written records. Archaeology also help in understanding the coins, in inscriptions, Brahmi inscription, Prakrit inscriptions are there. Sanskrit inscriptions on for example, Rudradaman issued a Sanskrit inscription. He is the first person. Rudradaman, he is the first person who issued Sanskrit inscription. But Sanskrit tradition emerged now. And first Sanskrit inscription emerged after almost 2000 years. And the person who gave that first Sanskrit inscription is foreigner. Because once they come to this particular land, Indian land, and they become part of Indian culture. So they accept immediately whatever culture emerged in this particular geographic location. And this geographic location developed a culture because of this continuity of the civilizations. After post-Mauryans or Mauryans, whatever cultural elements we see, those are the continuation of these elements. In this respect, just in bracket you write one question to give perspective how important this connectivity. You make one diagram, one box like that. This is GS question. Write this question. The ancient civilization the ancient civilization in Indian subcontinent the ancient civilization in Indian subcontinent differed from those of Egypt, Mesopotamia, and Greece. In that its culture and traditions, have been preserved without breakdown to the present day. To the present day. Full stop, comment. 2015 GS1. In 2015, this question was asked in 2015 GS1. Now for general studies student, how difficult it is. Most of the students leave ancient India, Stone Age, early Harappan, late Harappan. Unless you have mature Harappan, they'll But after that, discontinuity happens in the preparation. But as history option student, we should have this continuity. So it's like a story. This story cannot be discontinued anywhere. And this question is all about that story only. When there was a breakdown in these civilizations, but there is no breakdown in India. It is continuing. And these early Harappan traditions continued in mature, and these traditions continued in late Harappan, and they continued in early Vedic, they continued in later Vedic, they continued in Mauryan, post-Mauryan, Guptas, then Delhi Sultanate, Mughals, British time period, and today modern India. All those traditions in a different form. When they started, it might look different way, and when today, it might have differed in a different way. If you see banking, earlier we were using the books to write credit and debit, but today electronic devices came. But concept is same. Someone is lending, someone is borrowing. The same thing, concept is same, but in a different way. As technology changes, the civilization changes, but culture. This is what we call culture, the idea. The outward appearance of culture is civilization. Urban civilization we call. But this civilization emerged out of many cultures. It is not a single culture that emerged into civilization. And these cultures are Sodhi Siswal culture, Kodiji culture, Amri Nal culture, Dom Sadat culture, and Jodhpura Ganesh culture. It did not emerge into civilization, but they have connectivity. They used to import copper from here. Because K3 mines are located here, they used to. And after this, some settlements of Ahar culture, they are contemporary to them, some flourished after that. And later, Malwa culture is about to come. That is after civilization. In this part, in this late Harappan phase, we are going to see cultures like Malwa, Jorvi culture. This we have seen in the Chalcolithic phase. That is the continuity of Harappan civilization. In map marking also, 3 type of questions will come. One is early Harappan site. They will ask early Harappan site. Some questions mature Harappan site. Some question late Harappan site. In this way also, map marking also, you are going to see this difference. Early Harappan, mature Harappan, late Harappan. Now you draw different diagram, and in that you make Sodhi Siswal culture, Kodiji culture, Amri culture. Now we are dealing with early Harappan phase. You give the heading. Early Harappan phase. Sanjay, is it visible? Visible? Okay. Now you see Harappan site. How UPSC is giving map marking. These are map markings. It can ask a Harappan site. Simply they can ask a Harappan site. They mark the point and in 17 2 questions, 16 4 questions, 15 3, 14 1. A late Harappan site. A late Harappan site, a pre-Harappan site, an early Harappan site, an important Harappan site, early and mature Harappan site. Early Harappan site and Harappan site. Harappan UNESCO site, pre-Harappan site. So do you see? On just Harappan site, how many types of questions can be asked? Getting? Sanju, are you getting? Different ways of asking, same thing. Unless you have this connectivity, what are pre-Harappan site, early Harappan site, what are mature, what are late, you cannot easily understand that question. Now you write in early Harappan phase. Early Harappan phase. Now we are going to see some settlements and how different characteristics emerged over here. Write this point. Early Harappan levels have been identified early Harappan levels have been identified at a large number of sites. Early Harappan levels have been identified at a large number of sites. Yet some sites the early Harappan phase, at some sites the early Harappan phase represents the first cultural stage. The first cultural stage. What do you mean by first cultural stage? Some,
The first appearance of a society or something.
yes, some immediately before the emergence of mature Harappan stage, settlement emerged in the early Harappan. Some settlements were continuation of Neolithic Chalcolithic cultures. At some sites, the early Harappan phase represents the first cultural stage, comma, at others, it is part of a longer cultural sequence. A longer cultural sequence. So like suppose period 1, Neolithic, period 2, Chalcolithic, then early Harappan, mature Harappan, late Harappan. So likewise, one by one. Some settlements might not be in Neolithic. Some settlements directly start from here. Some settlements start here and they gradually entered into different stages of cultures. This is what this. Next statement. The dates vary from site to site. The dates of early Harappan phase. We are writing under early Harappan phase. The dates vary from site to site, but the general range is 3200 to 2600 BC. So during this time period, early Harappan phase emerged. Full stop. The early Harappan phase is extremely important. The early Harappan phase is extremely important because it is a stepping stone to the urbanization. Because it is a stepping stone to the urbanization. Question can also come from like various origin theories. Some scholars used to say that Mesopotamians they brought. So some says suddenly urban areas emerged. But the reliable argument is the natural progress. For that, this is important. Some sites we are going to see. Balakot. Few sites, few important early Harappan sites. Few important early Harappan sites. So this can be your map marking also, Balakot. Balakot. Now just I will give you some rough idea. This you draw separately in the box because it is not directly connected with Balakot. This box will give you continuity, how Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic and early Harappan is coming. Just to give you the perspective. For example, when it comes to food, hunting, in the initial stage, human beings, then gathering, then fishing, domestication, then agriculture. This is how already evolution is happening. And when it comes to, this is related to food. When it comes to housing, initially they lived in caves and these caves gradually became wattle and daub, thatched houses. Then they used mud bricks, then burnt bricks. This burnt brick culture made the people to emerge into the urban areas, because on large scale they could construct very fastly. Housing. Now when it comes to pottery, initially no pottery, and later they made different pottery, basic pottery like handmade pottery, basic, then wheel made pottery, and later they even beautification also came, designs, paintings. Evolution is taking place. When it comes to urban civilization and mature urban phase, we see all these dimensions at very high level. But this is the tradition culture continuation. And this is what that GS question also, how our culture is continuing. So one stage after this stage, it's a continuation of the development without any break. In mature Harappan phase also we are going to see this. In early Harappan, they are going to become some of these elements. This is with respect to pottery. Now, if with respect to technology, initially stone technology, then they used copper, then they used bronze, emerging, continuation, hunting done, housing, pottery and technology. And when it comes to writing, initially there was no writing. And then some kind of designs on pottery. We don't know what they want to convey, but some kind of designs, and then some we call proto-script. Then later on seals also they started writing. This is how writing also emerging. Similarly, society also, economic point of view also, political system point of view also, these institutions are continuously evolving. Now these elements we are going to see when it comes to early Harappan phase. When it comes to artifacts, initially they made with stone, terracotta, then metal, so that continues. That aestheticness levels will continue. Now you write. This is how the evolution is taking place. In Balakot, what are the, and what is, where is Balakot? Yes. Do you see this one? Balakot is located here. Balakot airstrike, that Balakot is located here. Not here, not this Balakot. This is near Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So there, no, that is different. That is after Pulwama attack, that is located in this location. And this is located here. Different. For example, there is Hyderabad in Pakistan also, and here also Hyderabad. So names, in different names. In India also there are so many places with the same name. So that's why you should be very careful in which location we are identifying. This is Makaran Coast, Balakot. And if you observe, this is big one, mature Harappan phase, Mohenjo-daro, Shanhudaro, Kalibangan, Banwali, Raki Garhi, Tholavira. These are the major urban centers. We are talking Harappan civilization has seen urban areas, but every settlement is not an urban one. Only few settlements reached the very high peak stage of development. There are many settlements which still lived in the semi-urban areas or in the villages. Before the rise of these urban areas also, people lived in villages and semi-urban areas. Now in this one, you write in Balakot, what type of evidence came? Pottery. Pottery. Wheel made. And painted. Wheel made and painted. Artifacts. Wheel made and painted. When it comes to artifacts, humped bull, figurines. Now do you see, in Harappan phase we are going to proudly say humped bull seals, humped bull terracotta. But before that, already that tradition is going on. They used bronze technology to develop these ideas. Artifacts made of shell, bone, copper, wheel made pottery, humped bull figurines. They made shell, bone, copper artifacts. Then beads of lapis lazuli. Beads of lapis lazuli. So we used to say great thing about lapis lazuli in Harappa, but before Harappans already these people used. In Balakot, this is all the evidence in Balakot. Suppose if question, if UPSC marks here and if it says early Harappan site, then you mark Balakot and you give this. 30 votes you require in map marking, and these 30 votes are nothing but these only. So beads of lapis lazuli, shell, stone, paste, different type of material for bead. And if you observe in the mature phase, there was one site which is very good in bead manufacturing, Chanhudaro. Do you know in which area that Chanhudaro is located? So we are talking about this particular location now, Balakot, and in mature stage, this is going to play a dominant role in manufacturing industry. So this manufacturing industry, now you see, connectivity. So side by nearby villages, they emerged into the urban areas. Gradually that trade network. Okay. Possibility is there? So what you are saying, these are the initial stages of people. Some people, okay? Today we are calling Harappan people. And they reached the mature stage. Initially they were village people and later they emerged into urban areas. And these urban people moved and settled in Raki Garhi, Banwali, Kalibangan. And gradually they are going to move in this location also. Gangetic Valley also. Now whenever they are here, they have written Rigveda. Rigveda, where? Rigvedic settlement is this one. But Rigveda mentions about this location. Sapta Sindhu. Sapta Sindhu means these things only. Jhelum, China, Bravi, Bias, Sutlej. And if they already migrate here, then how come these people write Vedas here? So in your condition, either these people might have migrated to this area, and if they take urban areas culture to new areas, in this area there should be so many urban elements, but Rigvedic people are village people, pastoral, not even agriculture, pastoral people. Cow, cattle is the major important wealth, and they did not even settle, they were migrating in search of pasture.
In those areas, not where cows cannot be found because cows are found on green pasture areas and there is mainly valleys and that cows are not so found in
So they must have brought from plain area. And in fact, in these areas, whatever urban elements, whatever evidence we are getting, we did not find so many terracotta images of bulls are there, but cow is not that visible. Don't know, in their culture, probably bull is more important for agriculture than the cow. Bull is more revered animal than the cow. So only when you are revering, when you are accepting something with a religious idea, then you will show that particular element with all sorts of artifacts. On pottery also, on seals also, in a script also, you will praise about that particular cultural element. Probably bull is more important than the cow. Bull is more important for agriculture. Yes. So for that perspective, that's why those many differences are there. In when question comes, you are going to highlight all these aspects. So question can be asked, do you think Vedic people are nothing but Harappan people? So whatever question you are asking, Harappan people only Vedic people. Harappan people only developed Rigveda, Harappan people only developed later Vedic texts. So if I ask you the question, do you think Harappan people are Vedic people? That is those arguments we have to bring. Harappan have these many cultures and Vedic tradition is having this much culture, and we cannot easily say that they are the same people. Influence is definitely. Language is different, Sanskrit, this language is different. And we could understand Sanskrit in the later time period, but we don't know. These people mainly traders and urban areas they lived. Those people lived in pastoral village setup. And these people have, at least politically, they must be having some good political establishment. Otherwise, standardized bricks. In from this location also, in Harappa also you find the same brick size. Chanhodaro you will find the same brick size. So that kind of administrative mechanism, definitely they have well established political system also. We don't know, we are not able to read the script. But when it comes to Rigvedic people, village, Sabha, Samiti were there, Rajan, just emerging that political tradition. It is like beginning of early, it is like a early Harappan settlement type. They have forgotten everything and they started fresh. But if they are having this much knowledge, why can't they? And in fact, there is a gap. By 1900, they declined, and 1500, 400 years gap. So what happened in these 400 years? So if it is very common, if they are the same people, it may take 50 years or 60 years or 100 years, but not 400 years gap. But in fact, there is more continuity in this area than this area. In Hahar culture, Banas culture, they have some continuity. Malwa culture, some continuity. In Daimabad, In Daimabad, we see Harappan type of elements. So they have more connectivity in this side than this side. So that means after decline, they migrated towards this side rather than that side. So in this area, some new people came.
Sir, can we not have this 400-year period? Sir, people obviously didn't exist. They don't even valid. People didn't exist, but sir, maybe the natural decrease of Harappa, that is either by climatic change or the change in course of river or maybe some foreign invasion. Sir, maybe that the people who used to like the seals and all, they were somewhat destroyed. So people did not have that capacity to pass on the knowledge. That's why like people were there. Suppose I am here. Suppose my family is here. So if someone kills me now, okay, so my brother might be there, but my brother is very small. He's not so educated like me now. So he will, so when this generation will come, he will obviously not impart the same knowledge. That is, in some stereotypes or maybe trade or maybe.
Right.
So after that, his generations when they will arrive, so that time they will not be so efficient as I was. Building matters of trade or matters of building or maybe trains cutting a right.
Definitely.
That cannot also be there. Like those are Indian people only, Harappan people only, but they did not. They like migrated because climate change was already happening, and that force there. So say that Harappan's people are forced that the nature to was that is they used to cut obviously deforestation.
Deforestation, over exploitation of the nature. So this reduced the fertility of the soil.
Because in the plain area where once rhinoceros used to roam, and rhinoceros used to roam in very dense forests, like we are calling rhinoceros to Lhasa. And if you see the condition of now, that is too bad.
Right.
Cold desert is there.
In fact, tiger was there, rhinoceros were there. That means this must be dense forest.
And rhinoceros is mainly preventing marshy areas and also very dense areas like Sundar. Marshy areas, swampy areas, so might be that river was there, river was all there, and also dense forest was there. But now if you see the topography of Indian geography now, in India you have that part now, it is full of rocks and all.
Semi-arid.
Semi-arid. So sir, it can be that knowledge has simply not been passed in these 4 years, so that is why people obviously when knowledge does not pass for 400 years, people obviously will start forgetting about your ancient cultures around.
Definitely.
But then again, like on revolution time or sometime, they found the need of like necessity is the mother of invention as we all know. So this necessity forced them to again build from scratch. So this also
Pastoral, again they went back to pastoral activities, basic primitive lifestyle. Okay. So then what about the language also? They completely forgotten and they studied new language.
so maybe because in this 400 years, it cannot be possible that those 30 to 40 people were only there. Some migration, some invasions could have been there. Because we in Bollywood we find that in one room there were many dead people and they were scattered, not in the customary north to south direction of migrants. And also some in one cell we found that injury of wound of sword is there. So might have been foreign invasion. So some languages are their language and this other language, a mixed language can also.
And when it comes to burial practices, they used to bury, but Rigvedic says cremation.
So maybe because I can justify all it.
Yeah, so these are the things we need to write in the exam. So similarities are there. Based on these similarities, this is why this is the scholarly debate, and this debate is going on for 75 years.
So maybe imposition of culture is also a part of thing. Imposition of culture.
Imposition of
Imposition of culture. In simple way, suppose if you see in Goa, people were Hindus at first, then there came up after Vijayanagar kingdom was defeated, then Vijayapur Golconda that I mean there's Muslim region came, Muslim immigrations, the people are gradually become Muslim immigrations, and then after that when the Jesuits came, they imposed Goa Inquisition that we all know that Saint Xavier was there, he imposed Inquisition, so people suddenly people gradually changed the religion to Christianity. Now in Goa, 95% of the people are Christians and they found their religions from Portugal. Portuguese, because they imitate some of their script and like same in the all in the books like in Mahabharata if you see it is not a like the Mahabharata we read now it is not compiled by one person it is compiled by many poets many writers from the generation
Yes.
because the name of Mahabharata is never there the name of the Jaya
Ah.
which in mythology might be
Yeah.
but
Jaya Samhita. Huh.
that the doctor Sukam the Sanskrit word Sukam who has compiled about 60,000 Mahabharata. So it has been compiled from all the regions of India.
Hmm.
Some Jain some Indians.
Hmm.
So that way also might be that people from Iran or that they burn their dead bodies. They impose that culture on them. That way might be. But intermixing of culture has been there.
Definitely. That's why the mixing always takes place. When it comes to Indian culture, always that mix is continuous process.
Population is because you can increase the population within 35 to 40 people. You need minimum of 1,000 people to make a population in lakhs in 200 years.
Huh.
That might be the
So that's why we have to bring all these similarities. What similarities?
you know that primarily the people are from Harappa, the people are from Indian only. All came like if suppose 25,000 people are from Harappa, some 12,000 to 11,000 people came from outside, obviously from outside people will come.
Hmm.
So but that is might be less, the 50% might be 80%. But that is not different because I also don't know how many people came and nobody knows how many
Yes,
people.
yes. Huh.
So, but in this way can't become that now the traditions that we are following and in the context of that tradition that we used to follow in a mix of way.
Then the traditions of this area and this area is also having the similarities.
Yes, sir.
Iranian
And
traditions.
in Pakistan also people are still following some Hindu practices that Hindu God is still there.
Hmm. And they have some kind of similarity with Eastern European people also.
The physical
So how this similarity from this and this, how can we explain? The Rigvedic practices here, internet connection. Internet disconnected. Just a second, internet I'll connect. Some internet issue came. Fine. Ah. You have to mention all these things. And if you mention, this will give the indication that in mature phase also we are going to see wheel made, painted, humped bull, artifacts like this only. Lapis lazuli beads, very famous when it comes to mature Harappan phase. That means in early Harappan phase itself definitely trade, they must be having the trade network also. Already these people set the stage. And this is setting stage helped the next level civilization. Ah.
At that time, in 3200 to 3200 BC or 2800 BC, and in the middle of Harappa. So that time, there was no Pakistan or Afghanistan in India at that time.
Obviously.
There was a single region also.
Obviously.
There was a single region like that, right? So but then if you consider, suppose this whole Delhi, if we now, after 2018, we divided into Rajendra Nagar, Patel Nagar, we make countries like that.
Okay.
But 2023, we have this whole Delhi.
Right.
Only there is a region.
Right.
Suppose Lapis lazuli is found in Patel Nagar. Now we know that India is Patel Nagar, but at that time it's known as India was Delhi only. So how can we predict? Can we just maybe getting it from a bit of farther place, like across your home is here and the shopping mall is a bit far away.
Okay. So what is exact question?
So exact question is the trade that we talk about that Harappans might have trading relationship with Afghanistan or with the Khetri mines, like copper and but was it really trade? Because that time it was a single region.
Okay. Single region you say. So why to consider as trade? So it is like taking from home only. Why to consider it's trade? Good question. But when it comes to that time, today we have different transportation network, and today we have the concept of unified area. But that time, one village itself is a separate culture. This region is a separate culture. That's why we call Amri culture. Suppose if you say this culture and this culture is interacting. Today we are calling all these areas, because after the emergence we are calling them as Indus Valley civilization. But before that they were different cultures. And now it is like a different, it is one country, this is another country, this is another country. They might be having different political system, social system, different political social system. And in that, if they want to interact with this, can't we call as trade? Today we are North India and South India as part of Indian culture. But during Mauryan time period, Chola, Chera, Pandyas, what Ashoka said in his inscriptions, he did not include those areas also into his empire. And he said, I want to be peaceful with our neighbors. So he considered Chola, Chera, Pandya as neighbors, not the part of Mauryan Empire. So that means when you trade with Chola, Cheras, that is going to be trade. That's why we used two terms, internal trade, external trade. So whatever you are saying, that is also a part of trade, but it is internal trade. You can use this term. So when urban area, when civilization emerged, the region which is part of the Harappan administration, that is internal trade. The areas which are beyond their administration, That is external trade. Like that you can say.
So if the culture was different,
Hmm.
then how could their training or how could their city planning be same?
How?
How could the city planning be the same? Or they have the same city plan?
Yes, exactly. This is before the emergence of. This is the 2600 BC. And after that, these cultures mixed. Like a North Indian, Aryan culture, Dravidian culture, they mixed and they entered into Indian culture. But when it's the formation stage, it appears this is different culture, this is different culture. Within, suppose, within Karnataka, you can say, Karnataka, Kannada did not emerge in all areas at a time period. In northern Karnataka, at one point of time, Kannada emerged. In southern Karnataka, one time. But after some time, after hundreds of years, this particular geographic area emerged as Kannada culture. But before the emergence, it appears like they are different, these are different. So it's a evolution. This is what exactly early Harappan. So early Harappan is the mixture of, there were different cultures, and these different culture, now you see Balakot is part of Amri culture. And when it comes to Mehergarh, this is close to this culture. Kalibangan Banwali is close to Sodhi culture. So Harappa is part of Sodhi culture. Now, this Sodhi culture and Harappa, they are having interaction. And this used to trade with this used to trade with, and gradually they merged. For example, Delhi today is very big, but there was once Delhi is very small one. And whatever we are saying, Noida and Gurgaon, they are different areas. Now NCR Delhi, it became part of Delhi. But earlier, Delhi was different, Noida was different. Noida is a separate village, Gurgaon is a separate village. So it was like Delhi people interacting with, trading with the Gurgaon people. External trade we say. But once it comes under similar, same administration, in Delhi, NCR. So it's like when you expand, culturally when you expand, now entire area becomes under single administration. And when you merge, entire administration. So that is how, when it comes to Magadha, Magadha is initially confined to the Pataliputra region, Rajgir area. But when that area administration was different. Kashi administration was different. Shravasti, Ayodhya area administration was different. There Kosala kingdom was there, Magadha kingdom. Bengal administration was different, Anga kingdom was there. And when Magadha expanded, and in Bengal also, in eastern UP also same administration came. And when Magadha and Ujjain, they were used to fighting. Avanti kingdom was different, they were fighting. But when Avanti became part of Mauryan Empire, and Ashoka was sent as the Viceroy of Avanti, Ujjain, he worked as a Viceroy. So it became part of Mauryan Empire. Before the expansion, they were different. But once you expand, it become part of same culture. This is how, in early Harappan time period, they were different, and gradually they merged and entered into the mature Harappan phase. This is the theory which is more acceptable rather than saying that someone came from outside and suddenly created cities. Yeah, Harappan people are these people only. They might have came, but they mixed with the existing system itself. Entire system they brought and they established here. And what about these people? What these people are doing then? And these people are developing their institutions for thousands of years. And what these people are doing? Yes. So that way, these are the cultures which later became urban areas. This is how you need to see. Balakot is just giving one example how before the emergence of cities, already these traditions are there, and these traditions are going to become in a mature way when it comes to the after time period.
When you mean urbanization, that time, so urbanization
In today's concept, means
So that's Harappa is not an urban area. Wherever it's not an urban area, it's first a rural settlement. But we consider Harappa and Mukherjee as urban settlement. So that is urban settlement and we consider this as rural versus urban. That definition that we depend from today's terms, that today's urbanization, rural areas like that way.
the main criteria is this one: agriculture, domestication is rural, artisan, trade. If this area is dominated, urban. Economically, similarly, social system also going to be. When it comes to rural areas, their water management system is different. Their the usage of for what purpose they are using the water. When it comes to here water, advanced sewage system. So they developed sewage system and buildings are very, very close to. Houses are close. And here houses you will see the sparsely. And houses construction, they use burnt bricks. And here wattle and daub. So when you see these differences, and we say, and how you see, when you see the village, when you are coming from UP for example, just before the appearance of city, you will find the villages. So what characteristics you will identify? Their houses construction is different. City houses construction is different. Their roads are different. Their roads are different. Their water fetching different. Here water management is different. Their subsistence pattern, they depend on agriculture. These people depend on trading activities.
In urban areas, chances are good. That's why the tea making industry grew so fast because people had time and people had money to buy jewelries and all.
Exactly.
But
In rural areas,
only some people had, like in collective, people had.
rich people, only few people. Here more wealth, here less wealth.
That's why more wealth is urbanization, less wealth is rural.
And more idea, less ideas. More different type of people, different races. Mongoloid race, Negroid race. So mixture of culture also different here. And here it is basic. All these are the characteristics. Now this is how early Harappan people are moving towards this. But early Harappan people is going to show the transition. So they are going to enter into this area a little bit. And this is mature Harappan. This is completely Chalcolithic, Neolithic people. And in between, early Harappan people.
So it would be very difficult for a historian to accept that some foreign investor also came.
Huh.
Some foreign investor also came if he believes in the theory of Akhand Bharat. If he believes in Akhand Bharat, then he will tell that no foreign investor, there is a our people only.
Yeah, it's very difficult because there are so much evidence to suggest that they are not outsiders. Influence might be there. Suppose today also India takes ideas from every part of the globe. Does it mean all the Indians came from outside? Our constitution has the ideas from almost all countries. Does it mean they came here and they taught us constitution making? We took important elements from them, but it doesn't mean it is completely, they owned it.
Also, in the system, there's the police reform, these are all very British as well. We haven't changed the Indian penal, we haven't changed. That doesn't mean that we are suddenly Britishers.
Yeah, completely Britishers replaced Indians. So in institutions, the idea comes. This is what one historian say, completely these are new people. They came from there and settled here. One historian say, these are not the people, but the ideas came. And some historians say, ideas might be there, but more dominant idea is the pre-Harappan idea. This idea, so this is natural. Mehergarh, 7000 BC, already there. So since 7000 BC, now you see this. This will help you in understanding early agricultural sites. Wherever you see this symbol, those are represented with early agricultural sites. Do you see where they are? Mehergarh is there. Dam Sadat is there. Next, Anjira is there. Jalilpur. Saraikola. Here you will find Kulli, you will find here. Tanagundai. Now these are the early agricultural sites. Now gradually they are going to develop these institutions. Once they are strong in this, gradually they are going to enter into this phase. And if you observe this, it's gone. Now Ranagundai, nearby Indus civilization. Indus civilization cities. And you see this, Kulli is there. Next, Amri, Chanhudaro, nearby. Then Anjira, Mohenjo-daro. Mehergarh is there. Then you will find different city. And Jalilpur, you find the Harappa. So gradually, these already some settlements are there. They have the village setup, and these villages gradually expanded, and the nucleus might be changing. It is like, suppose if you establish a new colony, village people, suppose if there is migration of the people, if government is establishing new houses, village people, but a separate area is taken, new houses are constructed, all the village people are relocated there. And that kind of development might have taken place. And this Mitatal, then you see Kalibangan nearby. Earlier village settlements and nearby cities. This is the natural way. No urban, even Delhi is a city, but it did not develop in 1 year, 2 years, thousands of years. So more than 1,000 years. Hyderabad, it is not single year, hundreds of years it took. Lucknow, it is not 1 year, hundreds of years. Kolkata, not 1 year, hundreds of years. And today at this speed, it has taken hundreds of years. And obviously they will take thousands of years. Yeah. So gradual evolution. And now these people also take hundreds and thousands of years to develop into such kind of urban area. And even if someone comes from outside, with that is astronomical speed, no one can build the cities. And given the technology and the speed of those times. Definitely. So that is why that idea, just we will mention. 4,000 years are there. In 4,000 years, so many institutions developed, trade networks, roads developed, network developed, ideas exchange takes place, social exchange takes place. That's why raw materials from this area, from south also, gold. This civilization knows gold also. And this gold came from South India. That means they have the trade network. Copper came from this area. That means trade network. Lapis Majuli came from this one. And from Iran also, silver come. So, trade network. Suddenly it will not come. The Grand Trunk Road laid by Sher Shah Suri, it was already there, but he renovated and he constructed in a bigger way. Yes. So similarly, already one idea is there, but that idea is going to become very strong, and in a very bigger way, we will see a different kind of urban element. This is how we have to give some examples like Balakot, Kulli, like that we are going to see. You read up to now. Are you reading Upinder Singh? Upinder Singh. You read up to early Harappan phase. Early Harappan phase. Tomorrow assignment. Tomorrow we don't have class. Monday, Tuesday we have class. Wednesday assignment. Assignment is just to read Okay, whatever.
Thursday, Friday class and Saturday test.
Saturday test.
Today's Tuesday.
Today Tuesday. Okay.
I'm not going to college or just coming to coaching and then I'm going home.
Ah.
I forgot to pay and pay.
So what you do after that? Just a second.
When will you in GS?
Ah.
When will you take art and culture? At that time, can you inform me? I'll just take the art and culture class because I've already taken history classes from you.
Ah.
I will tell you now the notes that we will get from academic. I will study that notes only and then we have recommended the books and all the things that we have done. All this art and culture I have.
You have to. Just a second. I will stay.